welcome to my digital portfolio. I look forward to sharing with you all I've learned over these past 2 years. Thanks for tuning in.
During my 2 years in the MAPC program, while working full-time, I focused on the cognate area of professional communications. As someone already interested in the field of communications at a higher education institution, I was interested in bolstering my skills I already had, learning new things, and understanding the rhetoric that underpins it all. Now, nearly 2 years later, I am in a new marketing position I began in October of 2015 and presenting my complete portfolio. Throughout my MAPC experience, I focused on courses that strengthened my skills in understanding rhetoric, workplace communications, crisis communications, and visual communications. My portfolio demonstrates the 6 core competencies required for the MAPC degree by applying them to those focus areas. The 6 core competencies are visual communications, scholarship and empirical research design methods, rhetorical theory, professional communication, technological and media production literacies, and writing and editing skills.
Now allow me to introduce you to my portfolio. The website was built using Foundation 5 and HTML CSS on Text Wrangler. I utilized my own photography from projects for my visual communications course as background art for the entire website, which is a perfect segue to the first competency of visual communications. Through coursework in visual communications, I had the opportunity to develop skills using numerous Adobe products, including Premiere Pro, Photoshop, and InDesign. But more importantly, we learned how to take a heuristic phenomenon like fear and create a video about what that actually means. The 2 videos featured on this page cover the heuristics of water and fear and the products I made with those guides. For both of these videos, the connections to readings focused on the power of visual arguments, the benefits of multimodal discourse, and the importance of combining verbal and visual arguments in composition. You can watch these videos and learn about the specific connections made to Blair, Fagerjord, and George online. My core competency of scholarship and empirical designs is most evident in my thesis paper entitled Mastering the Email Subject Line: The Effect of Conscious Rhetorical Strategies on Open Rates. This study examines the relationship between email open rates and the content of subject lines. Email subject lines have been directly linked to recipients' decisions to open messages. My research hoped to identify if there is a relationship between high open rates and the implementation of rhetorical techniques. I utilized 3 data sets of a higher education university, my primary data source, a traditional e-commerce platform, and a nonprofit organization, and used quantitative descriptive tactics to code email subject lines with open rates above the mean. As the final pinnacle of my studies in the program, I have plenty more to say, but there are other competencies to cover in this brief video introduction. You can go online to learn more. For rhetorical theory, I presented my rhetorical analysis of President George W. Bush's speeches made after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. This paper enabled a deeper understanding of the rhetorical frames of Bitzer, Burke, and Aristotle. Since I held Bitzer as a central theoretician, I quickly learned the contextual application of the rhetorical situation while outlining the moment of exigence for George Bush. In responding to a rhetorical situation, Bitzer's guide can be used as a heuristic to ensure a rhetor responds accordingly and appropriately to convey his or her key message. To bolster my professional communications competency, I utilized coursework in workplace communications and courses taken through the public administration program. Within my portfolio, the sections focusing on crisis communications and professional communications combine to achieve the demonstrable results of a competency in this area. For crisis communications, my partner Christopher Rico and I conducted a learning session focused entirely on this subject matter. We explored notions of Benoit's image repair theory through the case study of Lance Armstrong and the Livestrong Foundation. Christopher and I created an interactive workshop and learning session that yielded connections to the teaching section of the reading list and enabled meaningful lessons valid in my very own professional life. Coursework in emergency management provided a glimpse into the efforts that go into protecting the United States in the instance of any kind of emergency. The role of the public information officer is crucial to the success of any instance of emergency management. Through this course, we actually wrote a grant to FEMA, which was a fascinating experience. Also offered through the Public Administration Master's Program, Nonprofit Fundraising taught the full gamut of nonprofit fundraising essentials. As a former employee of the fundraising arm of a university, it was extremely vital to learn how to develop a complex solicitation plan. Communications clearly form the backbone of every solicitation effort. You can learn more about my projects in these courses and links to important readings on the Professional Communications section of the portfolio. If you are getting weary with the length of this introduction, I have good news for you. My final 2 competencies fold into the website and portfolio itself. This very video, along with the ones from Visual Communications, illustrate my technological and media production literacies, but we can definitely take a quick peek at some code just to be sure. In person, I will gladly tell you more about my website designs, nonlinear design a la Kress, Gunther, and Van Leeuwen. Or I could tell you about how the very terms selected for header sections and title pages are Burkean efforts to reflect the language of my MAPC portfolio committee. I might tell you how Krug impacted my decision to make my navigation simple. I would certainly tell you I felt I was turning my back on Reddish's principles of letting go of the words when I added rhetorical situation and reflections to every single project. I could go on, but we have one final competency to cover. Finally, my writing and editing skills are evident through the many samples of work provided on this site. I invite you to read them until your heart is content. Thank you for watching and for your interest in my portfolio.